for me, it's when I walk into a room or where I go and see a group of people and I feel really accepted, or I feel really just part of something, and I feel safe and feel warmth and kindness. Those things make me feel very happy. I think I shocked a lot of people at work once by announcing that I had ovaries, which that was one of the things that surprised everyone, because they weren't expecting to know that someone could have started off life as a woman and now has a beard. That was a bit of confusion. And quite often I have to remind people that I'm not necessarily gay either, because that's another thing that seems to happen. But overall, I just think it's a running joke with some of my friends, and we just say that Leng Montgomery has been confusing everyone since 1984, so we sort of stick with that. Last September was celebrating 10 years of transitioning, partly because I didn't really think I was ever going to get there, and I did. And I think another massive highlight for me is it's been really shaping the career now into the trajectory that I wanted it to be. Because a few years ago, when I first started to transition, I couldn't get a job. In fact, I was rejected nearly 300 times in a 3-year period for various jobs and interviews. And I definitely really, that feeling of having to work twice as hard, and also knowing that actively the minute you say you're transgender, or that you're, I'd even tick that I was, at the time gay or lesbian or bisexual, any of those sorts of boxes. It is very interesting how people that apparently have very open minds suddenly don't. And the same applies to having a not very English sounding name and things like that. It's very interesting how people change in those situations. Now I refused at the time, and I refused then, because I thought this is going to I'll never get out of bed in the morning if I think that people are actively discriminating against me. But I realized there is an issue there, and it's a fact that we all ignore, in the same way that other group, people are othered constantly based on their ethnicity, based on their identity, and lots of things. So to me, to now be in a position where my life is kind of working in the way I want to, I think overall those things combined, to me is my greatest success, because it has been a very uphill struggle. And yes, I bear some scars from that, but at the same time, I still refuse in this, with every breath in me, basically, if there's ever a situation where people say you can't, unless it's something that's really dangerous for me, it's like, I, where possible, will fight to make sure that I can, especially if I feel that it's someone else's ignorance and prejudice that's blocking my progression through life. Everything doesn't always revolve directly around us and our direct, sort of sphere. So for me, being human is just acknowledging, being aware of ourselves, but also being aware of others, I would say.